Just listen, you'll glisten, cause you'll be so happy. Our podcast is random talk on this and on that. But what did you expect from potatoes and fat? Yeah, what did you expect from potatoes and fat? Well, hello everybody, and welcome to SpudAdi. I'm afraid Addy that's me. I'm ill. I've got a lurgy. So here's Spud.
Hello, everyone. Yes, Addy might pass out at any moment because he has, at best, worst case of man flu, at worst, some undiagnosed
Tropical disease,
which has been carried over by a mosquito, and he's chosen you out of all the people in the UK. He's gone you.
Deadly.
Now, slowly your head will turn purple. The head on top of your shoulders, and your arms will fall off. I'm sorry. To break it like this. I don't want to make it.
I'm not that bad. If I was that bad, I wouldn't even be here. And I'm hoping to squeeze to get on some Skyrim later. But when like things just aren't right,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, things just aren't right.
Yep.
But on more positive news is though, it's Spud's birthday.
My birthday!
Which means it's my birthday.
It's a good birthday so far.
Just over a month. Now, Spud is 1 month older than me, which means he's going to die 1 month sooner.
Exactly, which must be terrifying because I don't know when I'm going to die. I could literally, it could be tomorrow, it could be in another 35, 40, 50 years, who knows? Yeah. But then as soon as you get the phone call going, I'm really sorry, you'll be like, oh, trying to tie up all your affairs and God, what games haven't I played yet? I need to complete some games. Spend time with loved ones.
What would you do if you knew you had a month to live? Like if you knew it was actually a month to live, like what would be on that list? Because it isn't like an hour to live. Because an hour to live is like, I don't know, you'd probably just phone around a few people say, I love you, thanks for everything, goodbye, that kind of thing. But like a month, you've got time to do a few things. What would you do?
Well, first thing, I'd not go to work.
Yeah. I would stop. I would withdraw all of my savings from everything.
Could you imagine going, no, I have responsibility. I have to finish the reports at work. It's very important in my last month. No, I'd ring them and go, bye. And then I'd probably try everything I haven't done before. Like hardcore drugs. No, just things that I haven't experienced that I always keep saying to myself, I'll get round to that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
What's that?
I can't think of any examples that are wholesome for the.
I'd probably have to like the first day. The first day would be like making a list of the things I wanted to do for the other like 29 days. I mean, if there's any countries I wanted to go to, obviously have to be very quick trips, but because you wouldn't have another opportunity, or like places in the UK I wanted to do.
People you want to just knock.
I mean, I might be able to get like one of those like John Cena Make-A-Wish things.
What do you want John Cena to grant it as well? Hi, are you Addy? I'm John Cena, and I'm here to give you your make-a-wish. It says here you want me to kiss you on the lips full. Okay, that's a bit weird, but here we go. I
don't know. It makes you I obviously, being me, I would look at my gaming list.
You would? Well, with your Steam backlog, or your stack of shame, whatever they call it.
Well, it would really prioritize what I wanted to complete.
I don't think you've got. Maybe if it was like 8 months, 9 months, you might be able to get through that bad boy, but of non-stop gaming.
I'm not sure.
Non-stop gaming.
What if the month gave out like the day before Fallout 4 came out? You'd be like, shit.
Oh no!
I'd totally be emailing Bethesda, and I'd be like, look, hey guys, like my best friend, he's like a month older than me. He's just died, so I've only got a month to live. I really want to play Fallout. Please, can I get like a preview copy? Please, because I'm actually going to.
The first thing they should do is like the logic of, what? What do you mean? You haven't just got a month. It doesn't work like that. Right back. No, you don't understand.
You don't understand. We've been discussing this for many, many years.
Well, I was in the car with the family once, and I love the Arkham series.
Yeah.
Even Origins. I like them all. I love that game. And it was near to, I think it was Arkham City coming out, and I nearly had a car accident. Someone pulled out, and I swerved, and I missed, I was fine, and everyone else in the car was, "Oh, I'm so angry! Oh my God, we could have all died and everything else." And it was a couple of weeks until Arkham City came out, and the first thing I said was, "Imagine I died 2 weeks before Arkham City came out. I'd be well annoyed." And they still looked at me like I was a complete arsehole. So that's a true story.
Moments where your true priorities come to the light, and as the wheels screech and as you hear that little crunch, your first thought is, "Damn it, I'll never find out. I'll never get to drive the Batmobile."
Oh dear. Yeah, so it's my birthday and I've got lovely presents.
Yeah.
I was explaining you off the air that my present giver, which is the missus, she tricked me, said we couldn't afford loads of presents. We're gonna have to wait and get belated presents and stuff like that. And then she came with a big stack of presents. It was cool. Obviously before that I hated her. I thought she was horrible. But after that it's fine. It's cool. Yeah. We got some of the main presents, start at the top, is The Witcher 3.
Ooh.
So we're going to have 2 hardcore RPGs going at the same time. So
you can't do that. You're going to need to clear one, but you can't have 2 hard. You'll get all confused and you'll be in like 2 different worlds.
I'm looking at the box now and he's looking at me with his little yellow eyes and he's got his hand on his sword and he wants me to play him. But at the same time, I'm still playing Bloodborne, and I've just met 3 pesky bosses, and I can't wait to kill them. Oh, if there was an option after you kill a boss in a game to like stamp on their face repeatedly when they're dead already.
Teabag, I believe, is the phrase.
Yeah, teabag. Unfortunately, there's not that, but I can't wait to kill these guys. So I don't know.
I was doing Skyrim the other day, talking about unnecessarily violence towards things, and it was a mission. It's in Whiterun where you have to speak to this bard. Basically, this bard's hassling this lady, and this lady's like, "I keep getting hassled by this guy. Is there any way you can help?" And being a Bethesda game, you can pay him off, you can just threaten him, or you can just have a little fist fight with him. So, it's early in the game. I didn't really have any skills and stuff. So sure, let's go to the fist fight. But it's been a long, long time since I've played Skyrim, and I've never completed it. So I've forgotten how all the mechanics work, and I'd forgotten that what happens in brawls is basically you fight until one guy kind of falls over, and then at that point you speak to them, and then that's how you end the brawl, which I now know. What actually happened was it was a really, really close fight, like low level, blah, 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 and I was still getting used to the mechanics and stuff, and you're both in fists, so it's actually fairly even anyway. So, blah, 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 blah. And finally, he kind of staggers backwards. And at that point, I'm like, oh, God, now it's my opportunity. And you're going to leap forward and like smash, smash, flag, bash, smash. He falls down on one knee and I'm like, yeah, you fucking, bash, smash, 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 smash. And all there's this big splat. And it's this big splat. And all the people that are watching this thing suddenly step back and go, all the dialogue starts kicking off. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Blah, blah, blah. I can't believe I've just seen that. All this kind of stuff. The barman and all this blood's pouring out on the floor. And I'm like, oh, God. And all the chat that was watching me was like, well, that guy I hand quickly. That really escalated quickly.
The barmaid that you were sticking up for was like, what's wrong with you? You're sicko. And the guards march in. What are you doing?
God, it was bad. It was bad.
It's a good story, though. I can see where that was going straight away. Okay, I give up. Smash, smash.
Well, if you'd said I'd give up, I would have stopped. It was just you went down on one knee, and it was finally my opportunity. It was like, it was the bit in those Rocky movies where, Dolph Lundgren finally kind of goes, ow, or the bit where Mr. T finally staggers a little bit. It's the opportunity when, and then you wail in with the slow motion Sylvester Stallone punches. That's where I was at. It just, and in those movies, it doesn't end with a little, squidgy noise and everyone go, yeah.
So you've literally smashed someone's face and lost the respect of the town, and now is on the run, an outlaw from the guards of the town.
Well, luckily, I'm playing a modded version of Skyrim, and what happens in modded version of Skyrim is that every time you achieve something, the whole game crashes. So luckily, through no fault or choice of my own, the game crashed. The game crashed very shortly after beating the crap out of this fairly innocent bard, and I had to do the whole thing again anyway. And so I was a lot more respectful. When he went down, I was like, "Do you yield?
Do you yield, respectable gent?
Do you yield? Well, good. Now go and live your life most verily without my fist up your ass." That kind of
Whoa, that's a different kind of fight.
That was yeah, it's good. But who in gaming, and it doesn't have to be gaming, maybe in life, but maybe don't overshare brand one with life. Like, which computer game baddies or enemies have really got you going? Like that emotion, not just like, oh, like, oh, this is a good boss, but the ones you really want to beat. And sometimes it's plot lines, and sometimes it's what they've done to you. But what have you got?
Well, it's the three guys at the moment, but I feel like this at every boss in Bloodborne. But the even though I liked him, I did want to kill him really badly. The bad guy out of Far Cry 3, wasn't it?
Oh, the
His name?
Not the main bad guy, but the one that's like
he's main henchman.
Yeah,
yeah.
That game was totally backwards. I never understood that because I've forgotten his name. I'm going to Google that. But the one that's kind of like insanity is doing exactly the same thing and again expecting a different response. That one, yeah.
Yeah, him. That's the one. Oh God, I want
to. Your final showdown with him is bizarrely. I think we've talked about this before. It's like 75% of the way through the game, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's all trippy and weird. But I don't even know if I actually killed him or not.
Yeah, it's really weird. And you actually get to the end of it, and you're like, "Was that it? Is he dead? What's happened there?" And then you go and fight his boss, who's barely been part of the game, really. He's the one you got. It's a very strange decision because that enemy is so good, and for me, that would. I was still kind of expecting him to kind of pop up at the end or having like a post-credit scene where he pops out or something, and there's like Yeah,
that would have actually made sense as well. And the other one was Fallout New Vegas when the character that Chandler Bing played. Benny, yeah. Oh, I want to get my hands on him. Oh, I really worked myself into it. I was like, I can't get him. And then all the options popped up of all the different things you could do with him. No, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him really badly. I'm going to kill him.
Oh, no, that one actually got me because I had exactly the same thing that I wanted to get Benny because he without spoiling the game, you have an opportunity to kind of get him earlier and he escapes and things and he leaves you for dead. Blah, 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 blah. And then when you finally, in quotes, get Benny, he's actually been captured by someone else, hasn't he? By Kaiser or Caesar, depending on which pronunciation you're using that particular day. And yeah, I think I ended up with getting him crucified because I decided I wanted to wash my hands of the whole thing. And then I kind of had this awkward moment of standing next to the guy I hated who was kind of being crucified on the cross and just feeling really rather sorry for him. Just being like, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, you're in my head again, damn you.
No, that didn't work. I was like, good. And I'll pluck his toenails from his feet as well.
The guy at the end of the first Infamous, and I'm not going to spoil any, the identity of all that kind of stuff, but the guy at the end of the first Infamous, because he just doesn't shut the hell up, and he's wrecked your life, and he's wrecked everyone else's life, and and it's a frantic fight as well when you finally get that. And the way Infamous boss battles work, and speaking obviously, I know you know, Spud, but the way Infamous boss battles work is that they tend to attack you for ages, and then you're able to hit them or they get tired, and when they get tired, you get like a, I don't know, what would it be, like a 10, 20 second window, something like that? No, probably less, more like 10, 15 seconds to basically wail them. So it actually kind of encourages that kind of frantic, he's down, the frick is down, smash, 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 smash. And I remember with that one, especially with all the plot lines and everything had gone on and all the crap going down, I was in the zone on that one.
Obviously, everyone listening, computer games don't cause violence. It's just these odd occasions at the time.
I think if someone's destroyed the whole world and attempted to murder your girlfriend, yada yada yada, that deserves a certain amount of fist wailing.
It does, yeah, it does. A couple of fisticuffs moments.
Oh, the guys have got me going. There must be loads of bosses that
I'm trying to think. There has to be loads. I mean, I'm only thinking of recent ones. There's the Walking Dead Season 1 game by Telltale. Yeah. I finally got around to playing that, and I finally finished it the other day. And we'll get on to that. That's actually one of my points. But the bad guy, or we can call him a bad, at the very end, and then God, wait until I get him. Oh, wait until I'm going to get him, and then circumstances change, and it's like, oh no, I'm not so. A bit like your Benny moment,
yeah.
Without spoiling the game for you, it's like, you little son of a. I wanted to kill you, but now I'm feeling a little bit bad. So, but yeah, I'm just thinking of recent ones. Bowser, first Mario, keeps just why would you keep taking the princess, man? What are you doing, man?
There's some bosses which are just like some bosses get you because the plot lines are so good,
Yeah.
And then there's other ones that get you just by being really ridiculous bosses. Like the boss, like you're probably finding on your current game, but the bosses that take you like 3 attempts to beat, 4 attempts to beat, more, even having, especially on old computer games when there's no save game. We finally get to a boss and you have to do the whole game again.
Oh God, there was one in Nintendo, the original Nintendo, the Turtles game. The very first Turtle game. I think there was a tank or something near the end of the game, and it was a boss.
Turtles in Time, or the NES one?
No, that was before that. Turtles in Time was on the Super Nintendo. It's the one on the. I think it was the first proper Turtle game on a home console. It was the one on the original.
Angry Video Game Nerd reviewed.
You probably did. There's a bit in it which did make me quit the game for 2 months, and I lent it to my mate. And it's a gap in because it's kind of like a platform, side-scrolling, platformy thingy, but there's a couple of overhead moments as well.
Yeah.
And there's a big gap. and the roof's really low. So every time you jumped, you'd hit the roof and fall down the gap, and you have to keep going round and round and round doing this bit. And then it finally revealed to me one day. I just walked across it. It wasn't a jump gap. It was just a small gap. That why did they even put it in there? Because all gamers' instinct is gap, jump over the gap, the jump button.
You need to watch the Angry Video Game Nerd, because like, he's talking about exactly the same bit of that game, and it's not even a boss.
Is it? All right.
Have you ever seen Angry Video Game Nerd?
No, I've heard of him, but I haven't. No.
He's not nearly as good anymore. But his first, like, say, I don't know, 10, 15 videos are amazing. He basically plays old games, just like you're describing, finds that bit in the game, that bit, and just goes mental, and then does, like, just a big rant, swear words all over the place, this piece of blah 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 blah, and he's exactly the same thing that you're talking about, and rants all about that bit, and in the middle of it, he's like, jump, duck, duck, jump, no, jump, and eventually he accidentally walks across it and he looks into the camera and goes, what? You can walk across it? You can walk across it?
That's exactly what I did. I remember it. I think I got told off from my parents for swearing as well. To the fact that bit made me give away the game. I was enjoying the game. I was a big Ninja Turtles fan when I was little. Oh, I love Ninja Turtles. Raphael was my man. But I couldn't stand it. I was like, I said to my mate, I think I swapped it for something like Gremlins or something. It was a weird overhead, or Zombies Ate My Neighbors or something. I was no, get away from me. You borrowed that for a couple of months. And I got it back. I think it was my third attempt.
So every time you fell down, you had to fight your way all back up, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, because as soon as your screen scrolled past that section, as soon as you went back again, they respawned. It didn't remember anything.
Remember the days where what was on the screen was the only thing the game knew. Wow, that takes me back. Oh, wait a minute. No, hang on. That's off the screen now. That's past. We can never return to that part of the game, because that's off the back of the screen, man.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I remember in things like, I think it was like Sonic or Mario, if the extra life or the flower ended up like half off the screen, you still couldn't pick it up, and you'd be there like, rubbing your body against it, kind of like, please let me back. You don't understand. I need to shoot this thing. I need the flower, and the screen's moved on.
Oh dear. It's even in the game design, especially with the Turtles game, is that because it was like going all the way to the right, and then you went up, and then you went back, but you still could see below you where you once were. Even by design, you went back there. So why did they respawn the enemies? But I did that game. It's probably, if I went back and played it now, I'd probably think it was the worst game ever. But at the time, I was, oh my god, this is brilliant. So many games like that. If I went back, I'd hate it. But I don't want to ruin the memory.
I know me and you are both N64 fanboys, but
oh yeah.
Just thinking about the first time I faced bosses in Mario 64 and in Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Oh, that was a good game.
Both of them, because both of them were just brand new experiences in gaming for me. When Bowser in Mario, basically, if those of you haven't played Mario 64, then it was the first proper 3D platformer, and it was amazing. And therefore, you were constantly seeing things that you'd never seen before. And what happened with Bowser is you'd end up on this kind of big circular platform. And because it's 3D, you can walk in all sorts of directions. And then Bowser would drop on it. Do you remember? And when he drops on it, it rocks. And so the camera kind of goes flying up, and you kind of see all this lava below you. And that's just that experience of going like, oh my God, the whole floor's moving. I'd never seen
I remember that. I used to, the very first level of that game, I used to go up to the very, very, very first level, the first world. I used to go up to the very top after you beat the boss and just look around and go, look, you can see like 130 feet in every direction. This is amazing.
I can see for miles.
Look, I can see that tree down there. It looks a little bit different. It hasn't got all the branches on it, but I can still see it. Oh,
Ganondorf on Zelda. He gets you going, because that Ocarina of Time just had a really nice way of having Gandalf throughout it without him being necessarily throughout. Because I can't remember the exact plot lines now, but I think you see him at the beginning, and he causes lots of pain and suffering, and he's not an enemy that's ever kind of walking in front of you, but you see the effects of what he does, and you see how evil he is, and when you finally get to him, he's not disappointing.
That's my favourite game of all time. That Ocarina of Time.
Really? When was the last time we played it?
Must be about 5 years ago.
Oh, really? You played through it? Was there like a re-release or something?
No. I've got my N64 in my loft, and I think we moved. Yeah, we moved, and then when the pack in, I kept it out. That and GoldenEye. Played GoldenEye, thought, oh my God, this is terrible. Why do I love this so much? And then played that and was like, this is awesome. Oh my God.
Such a good game. Why do you feel, why does Zelda still stand up and why does GoldenEye not?
I think certain games are timeless, and for me, gameplay is king. And, you know, a lot of people feel like that. I think you do as well. Yeah. And when certain games, doesn't matter what, like if you went back and played the original Mario, it'd probably be a little bit harder because games were harder back then on the whole. But the gameplay's so tight. They nailed it. And everything after that came from that. You know, your Rayman Legends and your Mario 2, 3, 4 and your Sonics. That was the first tight platform experience. And for me, Zelda Ocarina of Time, that was the first 3D role-playing game, tight mechanics. You can lock onto enemies. I think that was the first time I did that. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. Everything was so tight, and it doesn't matter when you go.
There was no jump button, was there?
No, it was full. I think you could do a little roll or something.
I remember always having no jump button in. I think Zelda never has a jump button actually, and I remember it always confuses the absolute hell out of me because you just run towards an edge and you just jump. It's completely, and it's especially irritating after you've just played a Mario game. So you're just going to go, where's the jump button? And I think you're right. You press X and you like stab with your sword, or you roll, or you actually stop yourself jumping if you press a button. Yeah,
but with that, it's just so tight. So it's timeless. Doesn't matter when you go. I mean, the graphics are going to be worse, and the sound's going to be worse, and some aspects, the level design is going to be terrible, but the gameplay's spot on. And GoldenEye, even though at the time that was wow,
yeah.
You know, first-person shooting has come so far now. It does kind of make you feel, But at the time, I loved it, and it was the greatest thing ever. But
GoldenEye was more like the beginning of a brand new genre, which has since moved on, whereas Zelda was kind of created its own game. I don't know how to explain it, but other games, the adventures games are kind of still like that. Therefore, it's just a slightly worse graphics adventure game.
Yeah. I mean, Fable. That's Zelda and Batman, Arkham games to a certain extent, without the combat, maybe. But you know, the whole get the item opens up an area, gameplay. Bloodborne. It's ridiculously hard, and it's got a completely different vibe to it. But you got a weapon, you focus on the guy, you dance around, you have a little duel. It's great. It's brilliant. So yeah, love it. I love that.
How much time in Ocarina of Time did you spend? And I don't want to think about how much time I spent finding something random, like a crack on a wall or a mark on a floor or just an area that nothing seems to happen, and just playing every freaking song you knew in your
Yes. Yes.
Just in case something happened.
There was a weird shaped boulder in the. I can't remember what forest or something, but it was weird and it looked weird. It looked like there should be a door under it, and it was just like a shadow cast on that bit, or the way the polygons were, or whatever, made it look like a door. And I was there going in front of it for ages.
You had to look. I think you had to pause the game or something to like see the notes to play. And then you actually had to then play it. And I remember whenever you finish a song, it always makes like a little happy noise. You know, one of those like ding 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 ding, or Zelda. And so there'd always be this little moment of something's happened, and then the camera would turn back around and be like, no, nothing's happened.
Nothing has happened. You just played the song successfully. Well done. But that is all that's happened.
That is all that has happened. You have entertained the grass and the chicken that walks past nearby.
But with that, it's weird because you had the next one. Oh God, mine's gone blank. Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask.
I didn't like that at the time, but now it's been relaunched on 3DS, and I'm definitely going to go back and play it. Because so many people.
I never completed it at the time. I never got past it. Anyway, whenever I tell people this, I get this kind of like look of pity. But I never got past the time bit where you have to do the same 3 days over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I think
I remember coming around your house once, and you were just like, to grab me by the scruff of the neck going, you must help me. I can't do it. Why? And you showed me, and I was like, wow, that is hard. That's ridiculous. It's like, how have you got the time to do that? I don't understand. Like in the game.
And I think at the point I stopped was, I think I'd almost managed to do whatever it is you were supposed to do. I never actually properly found out what I was supposed to do. And I think I'd almost managed to do it. And then the 3 days ran out, And so it put me right back to the beginning of the first day. And then I think, if I remember rightly, there's certain things you can only do at certain points in the 3 days, like when the moon's in a certain place. I might have completely made that up, but there was some reason that I was just kind of like, oh God, no, I can't be asked. And I turned it off and never went back. And that was like 20 years ago, man.
That was a lot. I think we turned it off and played Japanese wrestling games on something.
Oh yeah. Oh, Japanese wrestling games. I miss those Japanese wrestling games days.
The striking duel.
Oh,
chop.
We had this.
Chop.
Me and Spud, well, as you know, we've been wrestling fans for ages, and must have been just at the birth of YouTube or something like that, you know, video sharing sites. And I remember, I think I told you or you told me, I can't remember who initially started it, but we found a couple of wrestling matches in Japan. I think it was like Owen Hart and Liger, and Muta was in one of them. And the wrestling style was just really, really different to what we'd seen in WWE, and we were addicted. And then of course, that meant we then investigated more and watched more and started importing the games. I don't want to think about how much of my youth money I spent on importing games. But one random feature of Japanese wrestling that was there at the time was the strike competition. And I don't just mean like the thing you get in wrestling and in American wrestling where they kind of like, you know, you get the yeah, boo stuff. I mean, we're talking about they properly just smack the hell out of each other, don't they?
Yeah, ran a face. There's eyes puffing up and everything. They're crazy.
And then, you know, some of them get the kicks in there and then there was a couple of Japanese wrestling games where you could do the strike contest, and there was one in particular called All Star Pro Wrestling 3, where you could tell the AI to do one, which was fantastic. But there was this like taunt that if you pressed all the buttons at once, for some reason your character kind of went oh yeah, like whacked his chest and like basically called for a strike contest. And I remember me and you we'd be having these like long epic matches, and you know, we'd beat the hell out of each other. There'd be loads and loads of moves, and it would just reach one of those kind of random pauses in the middle of the match where it was like, right, what now? One of us would be like, right, strike competition. Like, oh, it's so on.
And you'd win it with one of them dropping to the knee, and obviously being you'd pummel me into a bloody smear on the floor, just like you have to use later in Skyrim.
Maybe that's where it came. He's on a knee. I know what that means. Come on, a kick!
He's honourably lost the strike contest. I will now bludgeon him to death while the barmaid watches in Japanese wrestling.
I remember there was this random strike reactions that game had as well. Like it was brilliant. I love that game. But you just on occasion you do a strike that you'd done a million times before, or well, not a million times, but you know, lots. You've done a strike lots, but the way they would react would be different each time depending on how they were hit, what had just happened. It must have been a lot of complicated stuff going on.
That was a button press. It was, you had block, which you put your arms up, but then you had like you took it and it hurt you, but you just also went like, come then, do it again.
Oh yeah, there was that one, which is awesome. But there was also the one that sometimes you could get like a one-hit knockout. Do you remember that one? You know, you'd hit.
Oh yeah, and they just kind of stumble like a really realistic. It's not like
stumble and just slump to the floor. And I remember one time, me and Spud were being very sad. We had our own little champions, and we wrote out tournaments, and we think we even had like a league system going at one point. And there was one match I think we'd been looking forward to for frickin' ages. And I remember Liger was in it, and I cannot remember the other one. And I think you were the Liger. Or, I'm probably misremembering it slightly, but we'd been looking forward to this match. We've been talking about this match, you know, before you come over. Oh, you come over into that match, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I think I ran at you, and you just lifted up your leg, and you just went smash straight into it. We got that reaction when my character stumbled and splatted, and you just rolled straight on top of me in 1, 2, 3. I loved it.
Yeah, but that's the randomness of that was. I don't think it's ever been duplicated, especially in not the new wrestling games, because you're always going to have a 5-minute match. You know, if you put it on quick match, then you're both going to have a short match. But that match, it could be anyone, and randomly out of nowhere, someone gets a ridiculously strike on, and it just knocks the other guy out. And it's not for the whole remainder of the match. If they somehow kick out of that, then fine. It kind of reset you to a certain extent. But after that stumble animation, you both knew, oh crap!
He's
I'm going to kick out. Oh no!
And it was amazing. I'm gonna have to like find the. I think I did get that working by EMU on an emulator, PC emulator. I might have to see if I can find that. If I can feel it any better, I feel a bit rejuvenated. Maybe I should load it up and see what I can do. I'm feeling better. This conversation is improving my mood, although.
We haven't gone to the subject yet. This is good.
Well, I googled this morning. Obviously, I'm feeling ill. What to do when you're ill, which I can't believe I've never actually done before. Like, it seems quite an obvious thing to Google, but you know, so I've got kind of a little tummy bug type thing. It's not like I'm, you know, dying here from chicken pox or anything. Just a generic kind of tummy bug. So I googled, what do you do? Now, here my question to you then, and this wasn't one of my topics. This is just random shit. What do you think you should do when you're ill? What do you think the recommended things to do when you're ill are?
Old mum said to drink plenty of fluids, which I think is still
What fluid?
To water or really weak fruit juice. And she used to say wrap up warm, which I now know is not good if you've got a temperature, but they used to say sweat it out, like the illness is gonna come out of your pores and you're getting sweat out, which we know.
If they start trying to bleed you, then you know that it's an old fashioned.
No, I've got some leeches, okay, and I know you're gonna be
very red. There's too much blood in your body, so we're gonna let a little out.
And I have to drill a hole in the side of your head to let the bad demons out. And just plenty of rest. That's what I always do. Mainly because I hate chicken soup with a passion, so I never go near that. Go on, tell me.
Well, no, not far off. Water is the number one thing, but they recommend very, very little sips. You know, you just have one sip and then you leave it for a long time. But they say you actually will feel better if you do. Because what I tend to do is just starve myself, like don't have anything, and kind of assume that my tummy can't go wrong if there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
But it was saying, no, you should drink and your body will heal quicker if you do because it's still remaining hydrated. But it also recommended ginger tea or peppermint tea. So I went out this morning and got myself some ginger tea. So I had a few sips of that. And apparently in terms of eating, the best things are, two of them make sense and then one of them's really random. A banana.
Okay.
Is apparently really good. Don't have vegetables, don't have things with fiber, don't have any dairy. A piece of dry toast, but white, not brown. And the third one is a bowl of apple sauce.
A bowl of apple sauce? Wow, that is random. Why sauce and not an apple?
It's easy to digest and it contains, some substance that's high in whatever, and then it helps your body and things like that. But it was an American website, so I wonder if the American version of applesauce is different to what I think of as applesauce. But
yeah,
either way, I was like, okay, I'll get a banana. I did actually own Tesco as I was standing over. I picked up the applesauce and Bramley's apple something or other, and looked at it for like a minute, and I was like, no, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to sit there.
Just eat a little tongue. I've never had that one. Blimey. Well, I know what to do next time I feel ill. I've hurt my foot. I must have applesauce. Are you sure you're talking about that?
Amber, get applesauce.
Quick, put the applesauce on it. It's sore.
Did you know that this week, our Queen Elizabeth II, will officially become the longest reigning British monarch of all time?
I did, overtaking Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
He says, not quite knowing. Sure.
Yeah, no, it was Victoria. It's his women. They outlive us. And
they do.
She's going to become the longest reigning monarch. What are your views on royalty? Because some people are very, anti it. Some people are very pro it, and then there's lots of people that are kind of, where are you?
I'm smack back in the middle. I hate anyone who's revered as something special just because they're rich or just because they just happen to be born to a particular family. So with all this nonsense with the new baby and all the press coverage and all that, I'm like, really? It's just a baby, just like any other baby that just has more money and special parents and stuff like that. But again, I'm doing it. Special parents, they're not special. They're just people that are just born into privilege, which is great. But at the same time, which is completely illogical in my brain, it is nice, isn't it, to have a king and queen? And I get angry at myself for both things. When I think of them, I'm thinking, I don't care if a woman's really old and she's been there for ages, but that's nice, isn't it? Being all the history, I do like the history. I can't help myself doing it. It's probably, maybe I've been conditioned by the media.
Maybe.
Conspiracy series. But
the Queen's in your head, man. She's in your head.
There was, without going into details to get myself right, there was work due the other day, and I was at it, and the big boss of the work was there, which we rarely see. He doesn't, really come into the office that much, and it's a big company, so it's a big building, and people going out their way to go over and shake his hand, and it was really annoying me. It's like, don't wash that hand again. You've just touched a supreme being, and it's that kind of thing. But at the same time, the same sentence to someone, I went, but it's still nice of him to make the effort to come down there. And I was like, stop it, you stupid idiot. Just pick one or the other. So look, this is exactly how I feel about the Queen, the Queen and her reign. I mean, there's the tourist argument, isn't it? The tourists love them.
I don't really buy the tourist argument because the history. If you I'm like you. I'm in the middle, but I don't buy the tourist argument because if you took away the Queen, you're still left with all of the history that our country has. You'd still have Buckingham Palace, and you'd still have the Houses of Parliament, and you'd still have St James's Park. You know what I mean? So for tourists that come, because none of the tourists actually meet the Queen, but all of the institutions would still be there. The thing that impresses me about the Queen, and I think this is, I don't know if it was a deliberate choice or whether it just kind of evolved that way, is that she has maintained a very, very professional distance. Like you hear from her directly once a year on Christmas Day from 5 minutes, and occasionally she opens something, and occasionally she does a little speech like, our country's at war and I'm very sad and I wish respect for, I wish, all our soldiers well, something like that. But, she doesn't go on Parkinson, and she doesn't go on, any TV shows ever to be interviewed. You don't see her ever like doing stupid stuff, even for good causes. She's this aloof figure, which somehow keeps that aura of, she is something a little bit special. And then I know in my head, like you just said, she's not. She's just a woman who happens to have been born into it. But because of the way she keeps herself distant, she kind of manages to maintain that kind of slightly, I guess the word is royal aura, in a way that Charles hasn't. Because I think he has been too accessible. And plus he's aired a lot of his dirty laundry in public.
Yeah, lots. Do you think the Queen should go and have a trek with Bear Grylls like Obama?
No, I don't, because I think any of that kind of stuff, although it's completely admirable, would remove her aura. I think actually Obama doing that is a really cool idea. I think Obama is ended up in this really interesting time of politics because he can't be re-elected according to their constitution. He's done a lot of what he wants to do, but he's got this kind of like, I think the election is something ridiculous, like still 2 years away, and everyone's talking about it already. But it's because of their system with like primaries and all that kind of stuff. But he's basically got this 2 years where he can't lose his job unless he does something illegal. He can't be elected again, so he can basically do what he wants to do, both in terms of policy and in terms of getting the message out and stuff. And I think it's nice. He's obviously picked a few causes that he wants to promote. Some of which we already know about, like the gay marriage and yada yada yada. But this Bear Grylls thing, I think, is a really cool idea. I mean, because loads of people are going to watch that show because he's on it, and it's going to raise awareness of whatever message he wants to get across.
So I thought it was a joke when I first heard that, and then I saw the pictures of them together, and I was like, cool, because I like Bear Grylls. I mean, his programs are quite entertaining to me, anyway. But
I'm guessing I didn't do the full-on week-long survival, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did. I don't know.
It should have been just them two on a desert island, and they had to like hunt things and stuff like that. Could you imagine Obama just like Bear Grylls going, right, well, you're going to need this, need that, and he's like, no way, and he just goes and wrestles the alligator himself. Just, there you go, did it. Here you go, Bear. Oh, okay. Now I look like and then he does one of those memes where he's like putting his thumbs up and he's got an alligator head under his arm or something like that. But didn't Will Ferrell do it with Bear Grylls first? I think that was the first American celebrity to do it with Bear Grylls.
Oh, I don't know.
And that was, I watched that thinking, brilliant. I don't know who I expected. I probably expected Ron Burgundy or something, but he was just a normal guy. It made a couple of jokes. He cracked a couple of jokes, but it was nowhere near as funny as I thought it was going to be. It was just like, I've got to walk through all this stuff. I think they went to the Arctic or something. There was a lot of snow. And but I do want to see the Queen on a desert island with Bear Grylls for a week. just for pure comedy.
Where does one you get the fresh socks?
What? Cutting the alligator open this way and pulling the giblets. And I want her to take her royal scepter with her so she can like bash animals on the head with them or make traps out of them. So like there's a little booby trap that you walk through it and a royal scepter swings at you, smashes you, then she pounces on you.
It's one of the interesting things I think about programs like, and I know you don't watch this one, but like reality shows like I'm a Celebrity and especially I'm a Celebrity is watching these people who are obviously normally quite pampered and have had quite sheltered lifestyles. Probably a bit like the Will Ferrell thing in Bear Grylls, suddenly being exposed to real hardship. And I know we can debate in quotes real hardship, but these people that suddenly have to deal with this stuff, and it's fascinating seeing the different way people react. Some of the nicest people in quotes become complete bastards and bitches. Some of the stroppy people actually turn out to be quite nice under it, and some people go nuts, some people quit, some people get really moody. So it's like that. What's that woman that's all over the news at the moment for saying stuff about migrants in waters? Katie
Hopkins. Katie Hopkins.
I mean, she came second in Celebrity Big Brother last year, and I didn't watch it, so I've got no idea. But whatever she must have done must have actually been real life, have actually been really likable because to almost win the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big giant publicity stunt for her. I think her and her PR team think, right, okay, we've got a weird idea. Basically, we're going to make you so hated that everyone talks about you. So your stock's always up there. You're always in discussion. So, right, what's really sad at the moment? The immigration, the migrant situation. I know, say something really despicable in your column, and then everyone will start talking about you. And it's worked. Because on that Big Brother thing, she couldn't have been a complete a-hole because, well, again, maybe I'm giving the British public too much credit, but surely she wouldn't have stayed in there if she was a complete a-hole.
Well, yeah, I think she'd have gone out first, or but to come second. I think the way they do these things, I think they have like 4 people on the last show, or certainly they did when we used to watch Big Brother back in the day. I think on the last episode they always have like 4 people, and then you vote to win. And if she was really that popular, she'd have come 4th or 5th. Or something. It's interesting.
Yes.
Speaking of interesting. And I spotted this in the news, and I don't think we should have a long debate about it because it's quite sad. But the assisted dying bill, or euthanasia, is coming back to British Parliament on Friday. It's what's called a private member's bill, and obviously,
I haven't seen this one.
Well, it's not very much publicised because it's private members, and what that means is basically it's not done by the Conservatives or by Labour. It's been put through by one MP. There's a tradition in Parliament that something like 10 MPs each year can put through a bill of their choice, and it's done by ballot, as in, they're drawn randomly, and then parties, and they nearly always lose. They nearly always, everyone votes against them, or the main party's going to vote against them. But the tradition is that they still have come, and they're often used to raise awareness. The famous one that went through was fox hunting. That was a private members bill. That wasn't actually a Labour policy or something like that. It was put through as a private members bill, but Labour then decided they were going to support it. So I think it's this Friday, next Friday, there is another assisted dying bill going through, and it's not supported by any party, although they may vote for it, they may not vote for it. But it's interesting that that it's going to bring that debate back to the forefront. And I think there's various religious people who come up this morning and said, "Oh no, it's all wrong." And then Richard Dawkins has tweeted out how it's funny how all these people that believe in heaven don't seem to be keen to get there and stuff. And it's like, yep, the snide comments have started already. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one, assisted dying, because I think some people, like many things, a lot of people will be in the middle, and we'll kind of go, well, yeah, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's that, and then some people will be incredibly passionately for it, and some people will be incredibly passionate against it. So I think it'd be very difficult for any politician to actually have a viewpoint on it, because whichever way you go, you alienate hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people.
Like all important subjects, you do that. You talk on immigration, you're going to alienate some people. You're going to, win some people over, and especially with this as well. I mean, my personal thing is that if someone's on their sound mind, obviously, and this is important, obviously, then you have to take everything into consideration. I mean, if they're in immense pain and they're never going to get better, it's a horrible, sad thing to talk about. Happy birthday! Thanks, Addy.
Sorry. But, fine. We'll talk about something else.
No. But yeah, I think if someone is in immense pain and they're of sound mind and it's not going to get better, they want to do it with a bit of dignity. And I come from the non-religious standpoint myself, but obviously, if you've got religious things, there's things in there as well about it. I mean, life is a gift, any way you look at it. But I think if you got to put yourself in someone's shoes, and as long as they haven't gone mad with the pain or depression or whatever the case may be, as long as they're still sound mind and they've got a good reason. It's not like, are you mad? No, okay, just sum it up with the word mad there. Sorry if I've offended anyone, but are you of sound mind? Yes. Why do you want to end it all? Because the next Batman game doesn't come out for ages, then that's not a good reason. So don't do that. But if it's something serious,
Fallout 5 won't be out until I'm at least 6.
Just finished Fallout 4. Fallout 5 is at least 4 or 5 years away. Probably longer than that.
Probably longer.
Anyway, but if it's something serious and it's a horrible, nasty situation to talk about, but yeah, you can't force someone. That's my opinion only. Not shared by the SpudAdi casters too.
Yeah. It's a very, very difficult one because it impacts so many people, and especially the doctors as well. There was a I don't know if you saw it. There was a lady in America who she was what's the word, like a county clerk or county, not a judge, but like person that issues certificates and things.
Yeah, I think.
And she was very religious, and she refused to do any wedding licenses for gay couples.
Oh, this is the one that had all the divorces as well, and everyone's picking up on that. Yes.
And does she? I didn't see that half.
Oh yeah, she's got kids to different men and failed marriages and stuff like that. So obviously all the atheist parties and even other religious parties going, well, you're picking and choosing here. You're not supposed to do all that stuff, but
Awesome.
you
Nice.
refuse to do that stuff.
Well,
So
she's obviously used her her personal moral standards to make a stand against it, which you could argue is admirable or misguided. But I think once you start bringing your personal stuff into public office, that's a different set of issues.
exactly.
I think it'd be interesting about like a doctor as well. Like if this assisted dying became legal, like what would happen if a doctor refused or wanted to, or where does the doctor's own personal morality kind of go in there? It's just. And this is one of the reasons why I teach it at GCSE. Things like euthanasia and abortion and genetic engineering and stuff. There's just not a clear-cut answer, which is what makes them so fascinating to kind of debate and have opinions on. It's cool and sad.
Yeah, I think when people think about this, it's good for someone, even though it's hard and horrible to think about as well. Not that I enjoy it, but from a philosophy standpoint, it's good to try and wrap your head around that. And for someone to challenge you on your standpoints is always good as well. I try not to get too offended when people challenge me because I'm always right, as you know.
Yeah,
but when people do put
up, disappeared over the years because you're always right.
I think you'll find you're wrong purely on the basis that I'm always right. So, but when you think about it, you can never be right if you disagree with me.
In that case, but you're dumped. Okay, fine. Well, I'm devastated about that, but I'm still right.
I'm dumped, but I'm correct. Yeah, I mean, if someone challenges you and it makes you think, and it's good. It's good to think. You're not just blindsidedly following one way or the other. It's good.
Well, this is why we decided early on. We decided we'll talk about stupid things. We'll talk about gaming. We'll talk about wrestling. But from time to time, we'll talk about some of the bigger issues as well because it's good to kind of be pressured and stuff.
After 7 episodes, 7 whole, is it 7? I think it's 7. Oh God, I'm really bad. Every week I question what episode it is. But anyway,
it's like 74.
Wow, does it feel that long? Is it such a chore? Wow,
yeah,
get me to that. It's Spud's birthday. I'm going to really, really get him. Right, we can talk about death. Say it really feels like.
I paid for your Fallout today. If you check your emails,
Happy birthday! Yeah, it's a conversational podcast, so we're going to talk about whatever takes our fancy because we've gone power mad, and we're going to talk about whatever we like, which includes
persuade you like many, many, many times to play Fallout. We haven't had this conversation on the podcast.
Oh, we've never had this conversation. I mean, yeah. I freely admit, you're the man that opened up the doorways to gaming legendary status of gaming, which was just a big bunch of words I stuck together there. Sorry, but yeah.
Let's talk about why did you? Because you love Zelda and you loved Grand Theft Auto, so you love adventures and you love open world games, and yet what I actually had to do with Fallout eventually with Spud was I pestered him for ages to play it, and he didn't like it. Then I pestered him again ages to have another go, and he still didn't like it. So I actually had to sit him down for like an hour, and I had to force him to play it and guide him through like the first hour, and then off he went, and now he loves it. But so, I got rid of it. Why did it struggle?
One day you turned around and went, "Oh, how are you getting on with Fallout 3?" Oh, I got rid of it, and you literally looked at me like you were going to slap. I thought you were going to physically try and jump me. I was like, "Whoa! I didn't call your mum something. I said I just got rid of that game." And then you sat down and showed me.
I'd be less offended if you called my mum something.
I'll bear that in mind. Yeah, at the start of Fallout, after the initial first bit, it does kind of go, "Here's an open world, and go for it." And if you wander in the wrong direction and you come across a rad scorpion or whatever those guys are called, or a deathclaw, and you go in the wrong direction by accident, you're dead. And obviously coming from, I think that was the first piece of game where it doesn't hold your hand too much, and you can make mistakes, and you can wander in the wrong place, and you can go up to someone who's many, many levels higher than you and shoot them in the leg, thinking, right, okay, I can beat this guy, and then they smash it. And that happened a lot. Then I went into the town, and I was having conversations, and it was saying, the thing we're talking about, like skipping a whole mission. But I thought that was a good thing. So I was trying to do it, and it said failed, and then I'll get in trouble. And then I'm like, okay, I'll smack you in the face because it's a computer game. And the guards come running in, and what are you doing? And they chase me out of town. And then I accidentally blew up a town. And I was like, I'm just not getting this. Everything seems to be really, I'm really bad at this game, or the game's bad. So obviously because I'm always right, which we've just covered, I thought the game was bad. Yeah. And then when you sat me down, forced me to sit me down.
Forcibly sat you down, but you grudgingly accepted my controlling nature.
Aren't we going to have lunch or something, or go somewhere? Nope, we're sitting down and you're going to watch this. And I think you were a good 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6, quarter of the way, something. It was a big length in the game. You were in there, and you were showing me some cool stuff, some cool battles, some cool dialogue, the clever things you could do. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know it could go this far and deep, and the storyline gets a lot better opposed to Dad. And yeah, and then I did
plot line. I got a 50-hour role play out of Dad.
Yeah, Dad. But I was wrong. I was definitely wrong, because now I love it. After I sat with it for a few minutes, and I think I played it all again, and I think it got me at the point where instead of accidentally blowing up Megaton Town, I grassed up the guy who wanted to do it, and I got a good armor. I took all the stuff of someone's dead corpse as a result of that fight. And after that, I started getting into it. But it was all the wrong decisions made. It's like if I didn't do my research with Bloodborne, because you got me Demon Souls for my birthday, and I played 2 levels of that, and I still have it, and I just can't do it. But I went in there blind, not knowing what I was doing. But because I knew this was like that, I did my research, and I didn't make any mistakes. But Bloodborne is exactly the same kind of game. I could have went in there, died a quadrillion times trying to do something stupid, and went, no, this is crap, not for me. But because you just know how to play it, and it doesn't hold your hand too much, which now I respect, and I think it's really clever. And that's why I literally want to go into a coma until November, until the other game comes out.
It's an interesting style of genre of game that's come up there, because like so we've talked about quite a few games today, like Mario. You can't cock up Mario. You can die on Mario, and you can be better at it or worse at it, and you've got little techniques, but you can't actually get it wrong and make the game harder for yourself by accident. But you actually can on Fallout and on Dark Souls and Demon Souls. Because I remember I played the first one. Was that Dark Souls?
Yes, and it was Demon Souls.
I played the first one.
No. Demon Souls was the first one. Sorry.
And I was looking through as you do, pick your character. So I was like, I'll pick my character, blah, blah, blah. I went through it, and I picked the Barbarian, the no armor guy with a big double axe. He looks badass. I hear this game involves his axes. And I just got smashed all over the place to the point that I got really annoyed with it. And I eventually did Google it, and the answer was essentially, well, you should play as the Barbarian. That's like an advanced level character. And I was like, well, how was I supposed to know that?
Yeah, he doesn't hold your hand. This is the thing.
And so on games like Fallout and Demon Souls and Bloodborne or whatever it is, you actually can unknowingly screw yourself over.
Yeah, I did the same with Oblivion, the one before Skyrim. I really early in the game, I made some bad decisions again, and it kept getting worse. And then I got bit by a vampire, and I didn't know how to kill myself. And before I knew it, I was a vampire, and it just messed up the whole game. Wasn't enjoyable. Everyone didn't like me, and my health was going up and down all over the place, and I was going there. I could go in the daytime. I was like, what's going on? And I had to quit the whole game again and start again. Yeah, I quit the whole thing, just restart from the very beginning with a guide just for the first hour to get me off the ground, which sounds terrible because I like to think of myself as a very experienced player. I've been playing since 1989 or something. I shouldn't need to do that. But sometimes you do need a little bit of help. And that's what I did with Bloodborne. That's what you were my living, walking, talking guide for Fallout 3. And yes, sometimes you screw up.
Well, you've got 3 options, and here are the pros and cons. I've tried all 3.
Remember the time I told you I blew up that megaton, and you were like, "No, Facebook, just no. Why did you do that? That's such a resource. You don't want to do that. So many missions you've just ended." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry. Well, can't you go back to a previous save game?" No, I've only made 2 save games.
I blew it up on purpose on my roleplay, but that's different. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, I didn't, and I'm so sucky. When you're so sucky at these games, I was trying to play it like a first-person shooter for a lot of the time as well. I was going up to someone going, "Well, if I headshot him 5 times, he's dead." No, if you're level 5 and you headshot, some giant big mutant monster in the wasteland, then no, that's not going to work. But I didn't know that was stupid.
The leveling in Skyrim, and I'm really impressed by it, and it must make their lives as game designers easy. It's and you probably know this already, but it levels, the game levels with you, as far as I understand it, and so it doesn't matter what quest, because in Skyrim you can basically walk anywhere from the beginning. You can get anywhere at the very beginning of the game, because you can get to the first city, you can get to a carriage, and you can go anywhere. So if it was a case that just some places in the game are harder than others, that would cause a headache for the game's designers. It would cause a massive headache for the players. Should I be doing this yet? But they use this method whereby whatever dungeon you do, whatever quest you do, it automatically balances it for your levels, and it spawns different enemies depending on what level you are. And I think that's just really a really clever way of doing it. So you always have this feeling of making progress, and what no matter what order you do the quest, you will find things that are balanced for your way. I was reading about it, and someone was saying it's an amazing system. They love it. They just said just make sure you don't always level up using non-combat skills, because if you become an expert in lockpicking and an expert in alchemy and an expert in speaking to people, and you end up leveling to like level 15 by leveling that lot, and then you end up facing some like demon bandit, and you're kind of standing there with your like my level 1 sword, but my amazing lockpicking. You're a bit buggered.
I've made you a nice potion to make your hair nice and long and silky soft, Mr. Demon.
Have you got any locks I could open for you, Demon Bandit? Can we sit down and
He's swinging the sword around. You're trying to grab his waist.
Is there a speech option, maybe? No? Okay.
Can I talk you out of this whole mission? Can I? I'm going to destroy you, puny human. Do you really want to do that? No, you're right. I don't. I'm sorry.
Well, I just think if Zelda had a speech option, that fight with Gandalf would have ended up so different. So, and the one with Bowser. Bowser lands on the thing, the whole thing flips over, and Mario goes, "Hey, let's have a pizza and talk about it." Okay. Now, can I have the princess back here? She doesn't want to be here. Fine, all right. Just give me some more pizza.
Is that true, Peach? Yes, it is. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like a complete douchebag now. What am I doing? I just get so lonely sometimes.
Well, that's okay, Bowser. I'm sorry. Look, I've baked a cake for you. Come over tomorrow. That's not going to end well.
I tell you what we do. We set up a giant big go-karting tournament. Okay, good.
I see you on the tennis court. Okay.
Oh, soccer? Basketball? Something. I'm holding my own Olympic special with a guy called Sonic. He's a hedgehog. He's a bit weird, but he's okay.
He talked very fast, but he's hot in the right place.
He used to be really rich, but now he's poor and he doesn't really talk to anyone or go outdoors.
Well, that's an hour.
Wow, we have yabbered. Is that a word? It is now. I've just made that word.
I believe Fred Flintstone may have copyright.
Good old Fred Flintstone.
Good old Fred.
I wonder if we have to get in that house. Anyway.
Well, that was SpudAdi, guys. I hope you've enjoyed us. I'm not sure what we talked about today, but yes, I hope you've had fun listening to us. If you have, then please make sure you follow us or tune in next week, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch or Audio Boom or Audio or iTunes. Please
please rate us on iTunes. People, that's we haven't had any rates yet, and we've been listened to quite a lot, especially last week, which we were very lucky to be featured by our podcast guy.
Oh, that's
people.
Email us.
Yeah, I did already, and but please rate us because it helps us in ways that I don't quite understand.
It's all about promotion and publicity and stuff.
And follow us on Twitter at SpudAdiCast.
And here for your audio pleasure. You see, what's the difference of like visual pleasure? Visual pleasure is eyes, like audible pleasure?
Listening pleasure?
Aural pleasure? If your aural pleasure is the SpudAdi song that sends you happily on your way. Thanks for coming, everyone. Goodbye. SpudAdi, you spud and I'm Addy. Just listen, you'll glisten, cause you'll be so happy. Our podcast is random talk on this and on that. What did you expect from potatoes and fat? Yeah, what did you expect from potatoes and fat?